Hyundai isn't falling into the industry typical habit of making all its new cars look like Russian dolls. From the Sonata to the Palisade to the Elantra, every new Hyundai debut is more interesting than the last. But they are more than just great pieces of design. These products are well-rounded too. The 2022 Tucson crossover isn't just Hyundai's latest model, it's the company's best one yet. The 2020 Ford Escape is almost a utilitarian product, attempting to appeal to as wide of a swath of the buying public as possible. And in my opinion, it's succeeded more in its latest iteration, and while everything might be turning into an SUV, this is more car-like than ever before. So, in today's video, we will compare both of these SUVs from their exterior and interior design to technology, safety tech features, and engine to give you a clearer image on which one you should get. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Like the new Sonata and Elantra, the Tucson will surely be divisive. Easily the most striking part of the design is the Tucson's face. The wing-shaped parametric design front grille has angular inserts and a dark chrome-ish finish, and the LED running lights and turn signals are integrated into the grille, appearing hidden when off. Meanwhile, the main headlights and high beams are in the larger pods in the lower bumper. It's a distinctive solution and looks unique, especially at night. The rest is unique too. It's got squared-off wheel arches reminiscent of the Lamborghini Countach, and lots of intense character lines and surfacing details. The greenhouse is accented by a spear-like chrome strip that gets thicker in the depeller, but otherwise there is not much going on in the sides. The slash-shaped taillights have a unique signature and are connected by a full-width light bar, and the placement of the Hyundai badge in the rear glass is interesting. As for the Ford, now that the Focus is but a glimmer of nostalgia in the automaker's eye, there is space to bring the Escape a little closer to earth and better embody the original idea of what a crossover was supposed to be. It is slightly longer, wider, and lower than the outgoing model, and has a lower belt line that allows for larger windows and excellent outward visibility. The expansive greenhouse combined with the plunging nose can give this Ford the look of a swollen hatchback on stilts, yet the overall design is hardly offensive. More important, the new model is notably lighter than before, largely thanks to the use of high-strength steel in the structure. The Tucson's lovely interior design is sure to be less divisive than its exterior. Sweeping metallic arcs frame the center stack and separate the dash top and the windsills from the rest of the cabin, a bit like the twinkle design used on Mustangs and Thunderbirds of the mid-1960s, but modernized via Hyundai's unusual four-spoke steering wheel. Materials are class competitive, with the front dash top and upper door panels well padded, while the lower doors and center console are rigid. The rear seats swap in hard door panels with soft touch appearing on the armrests and elbow pads only. Cloth upholstery is standard, and the base Tucson has plastic door panels, but supportive leather seats and soft touch door cards are standard on the Limited and available on the SEL. There is a two-tone light gray and black color scheme you can choose, as the interior looks more sterile in the all-black you see here. One of the cooler detail is the Limited's fabric inserts on the door panels and on the dash in front of the passenger. No matter where you are seated, the Escape delights. The cloth seats on the SE trim not only have an interesting pattern, but they are also very mighty comfortable, and the heated ones up front get toasty in a hurry. The interior design isn't going to win any awards, but everything is laid out sensibly, and one can appreciate the flat dashboard, which prioritizes usable room for the driver and passenger. The sort of texture feel of the center console adds a surprisingly premium touch for a car with a starting price well below what buyers are paying for on average for a new car these days. But compared to the Tucson's interior quality, even on the range top in titanium, black plastic dominates with substandard leather on the seats and wrapped around the steering wheel. The door panels get small slivers of trim, but instead of sprinkling in leather, be it real or leatherette, there is a texture finish that looks for all intents and purposes like someone attacked the plastic with a pocket knife. Going into infotainment, the base Tucson uses an 8-inch touchscreen, but higher models get a 10.3-inch display running the same fantastic system that's found in a number of other Hyundai Group products like the Santa Fe and the Kia K5. This car's 10.3-inch infotainment screen and touch-sensitive climate controls reside in a glossy panel for a clean and modern design, but I'd still rather have physical controls for volume, station tuning, and climate controls. Those functions are currently too distracting to use when driving down the road, with lettering and icons that are too small to scrutinize at a quick glance. At least the Tucson's infotainment system is reasonably easy to use. A home button would be welcome, although there is a multifunction star icon that can be programmed as such. A 10.3-inch digital instrument cluster offers further adjustability and customization. Ford, on the other hand, is offering standard analog gauges with a small center display or an impressive optional 12.3-inch all-digital cluster that's also available in the Explorer. Not only does the analog setup display information as effectively as a digital one, but the optional cluster lacks the configurability that makes the Tucson system so easy to recommend. Sync 3 is attractive, responsive, and well laid out, requiring just a couple of taps to get to what you need. And there is plenty of features in here, including Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Amazon Alexa integration, Waze integration, and Wi-Fi hotspot. The climate controls, however, are still made of buttons and knobs in the Escape, which is definitely far superior to the ones in the Tucson. As for comfort, the Tucson's supportive front seats get 41.4 inches of legroom and 38.1 inches of headroom, beating out the CR-V and the RAV4 in both respects. It's in the back where this Hyundai starts to flex its muscles, with a massive 41.3 inches of legroom and 39 inches of headroom. Of the aforementioned competitors, only the Honda and Toyota are marginally larger in headroom. The comfy reclining rear seat, heated in limited form, makes the most of this stretch-out space, which makes the Tucson genuinely comfortable for 4 adults. Cargo space is also impressive, with 38.7 cubic feet available when the 60/40 rear seats are up, or 74.8 with them folded flat. If the Ford's cabin tech and materials are less than exemplary, the amount of space here almost makes up for it. Every seat in the Escape is impressively roomy. In the back, a second-row bench offers up to 6 inches of travel fore and aft and a maximum of 40.7 inches of legroom, a massive 3-inch improvement over the 2019 Escape. Even without placing the bench as far back as possible, the effective legroom climbs from 37.3 inches to 38.8 inches. A 1.5-inch increase in legroom is significant, plus there is more hip and shoulder room too. Cargo space is ample, with 37.5 cubic feet on offer with the second row all the way forward and 65.4 with it folded flat. In this regard, both the Tucson and the Escape are tied, since they both offer great comfort and space for both people and their luggage. As for what's powering each of these SUVs, the Tucson standard powertrain is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter inline-4 paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. It makes 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque, nearly identical to what the Escape's engine makes. Front-wheel drive is standard, but all-wheel drive is an optional $1,400 with variable torque distribution. This engine is perfectly fine around town and on the highway, but it certainly doesn't make the Tucson quick or sporty feeling. The steering is both lightly weighted and light on feedback, and there is a good amount of body roll in corners. But what this crossover lacks in sportiness, it makes up for in comfort. Even on the limited 19-inch wheels, the Tucson soaks up bumps and rough surfaces, delivering a superb ride that's smoother than any of its competitors, even the refined Mazda CX-5. It's luxury car quiet on the inside too, though the noisy engine sometimes cuts through that serenity under hard acceleration. The majority of the Escapes will likely end up with the standard engine, a 1.5-liter turbocharged inline-3 producing 181 horsepower and 190 pound-feet of torque. It's a mighty fine engine. The throttle doesn't do much with a light application from a stop, but with any additional pressure on the pedal, the Escape will hustle forward with authority, whether it's shooting onto the highway or leaving a parking spot. The 8-speed automatic transmission is only really felt on the first and second shift, blending into the background otherwise. This tiny engine confers some big fuel economy benefits. The EPA estimates of an all-wheel drive SE clocks at 26 mpg city and 31 highway. The only real downsides of this engine are the fact that it shakes a bit at idle and the fact that it sounds like a piece of farm equipment, but life is full of trade-off. On higher spec models, you can opt for the turbocharged 2-liter, which packs 250 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. This engine moves the 3,500-pound Escape easily with predictable, linear acceleration whether executing passes on the highway or accelerating out of corners on a 2-lane road. The throttle is easy to modulate, although the start-stop system is a little sluggish. Finally, we come to pricing. The base Tucson SE starts at $26,135, but we would choose the $27,700 SEL since it would offer everything you'd need, from LED taillights, push-button start, adaptive cruise control with stop-and-go capability, 2 USB outlets in the rear, heated side mirrors, a power driver's seat, and more. And we would add the $2,600 convenience package that includes things like hands-free power liftgate, 19-inch wheels, a sunroof, the great digital gauge cluster, a leather-wrapped shifter and steering wheel, 10-color ambient lighting, dual-zone automatic control, and wireless charging. The 2021 Ford Escape starts at $26,130, but the best spec would be the Escape SE all-wheel drive, which is rather sensibly priced, packing the 8-inch Sync 3 infotainment system, Ford's Co-Pilot 360 suite of active safety tech, including lane centering system on the highway, adaptive cruise control, evasive steering assist functions, and updated self-parking, and more. It's time for the conclusion and the verdict, though I think this is a rather easy one, since both cars offer almost equal amounts of space and interior comfort, but it comes down to this. If you are after an SUV that has striking design and interior quality is of utmost importance to you, then the Hyundai Tucson is the one for you hands down. But if driving and on-the-road prowess play an equal amount of importance to you, then you might be better served by the Escape with its slower driving position and mightier 2-liter turbo engine it offers on higher trims. So, which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the latest car reviews and news. Take care, see you in the next one.